Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of our podcast Web3 and Chill. I'm your host Ayush and I'm joined by Vishal. And today we have a very interesting personality with us, Ralph, who is a serial entrepreneur running a couple of business in the Web3 space. Hi Ralph, how are you? And really excited to have the conversation.
Excited to be here. Thanks for having me. And yeah, you said it all. It's a great space. Great to be here.
So, what are you doing in this space?
I'm doing a lot of things actually, and it's kind of like a rabbit hole. Like once you start and you're in, there's no way out. Like you're just stuck. So I'm primarily involved with two companies. One is a play-to-earn blockchain-based game. It's basically like a trading cards kind of game, just replicated in the blockchain, where you have like back in the day when I was young, we had like Pokemon cards or whatever, and we would trade them and fight. It's kind of like that, just with cars. That's the one project I'm involved with. The other one is an analytics company where we build analytics tools for NFTs and Web3 elements. And then I'm also doing a couple of things at the side, more as like a hobby, just because I'm like, hey, this isn't really worthwhile to spin up a company for it or anything, but I need this, so let's build this, That's kind of what I'm doing.
Let's talk a little bit more about Sherwood, your analytics company, which is doing something in the space of NFTs and blockchain. We already need analytics on NFTs. What's happening there?
So analytics on NFTs and blockchain are very interesting because what we found is, so I will give you a little bit of a bigger story here, but this is interesting because analytics for NFTs are tricky because NFTs are so many things. NFTs can be like membership cards, they can be collectibles, they can be game items, they can be virtual land, they can be anything. They're almost like just like a certificate of ownership. And so to analyze that is not necessarily easy. So we've built a solution that attempts to make analyzing NFTs a little bit easier. But here's the catch now. We are way in a bear market, so no one really cares. And I mean, you can see that across the industry. It's not that people are sitting there dying to finally get their hands on NFTs. It's almost like people are a little bit tired, to the point where like even very popular people are not selling out their NFT collections because it's just that people are like, yeah, I don't know, maybe we won't even have anything to eat tomorrow, so I'm not sure if I really want to mint an NFT for 2,000 now or something. So it's been pretty tough in the bear market because the demand for anything like this has just gone way down, which is okay. I'm not sitting here complaining. I'm just describing the market from what we see and from what's happening. And as an entrepreneur, you just have to learn to deal with that. So we've been thinking about how can we interact with that, such a market? What can we provide? What are useful things? And there are a couple of things in the works, not all of which I'm willing to talk about at this point in time, but there are a couple of things that can be done. And one of them I spun out as a hobby project for now because I didn't want to associate it with a company yet and then it not work, or it totally no one cares. And then it's like, okay, well, now the company built a product no one needs. I was like, let's just throw it out as a hobby and see if anything happens, which is a product called Meta which is doing something so stupid and simple, but I really had this problem. So get this. If you're like me, you have like 10 wallets, right? You have like 10 wallets and you have them across all EVM blockchains, like you have Ethereum, Polygon, Optimism, Arbitrum, you name it. They all the level twos share the same address. And what I wanted to know is if anything happens to my wallets, with the sort of the back thought was, hey, what if I get hacked? Would I even know? Like, not that my wallet is empty and I have no idea for weeks. So I want to know what's happening with my addresses, especially the ones I'm not actively using a whole lot. I have some wallet, like my Ledger or so, hard wallets. They are just sitting there. I don't ever look at them. Like I cannot tell you what's on that wallet right now. But I would like to know if anything does happen with that wallet. And even if that's like a scam airdrop or so, I still would like to know that. So I was like, how do I do that? And is there any existing solution for that? And I couldn't find one worthwhile, because you find online portfolio managers, you find online wallet things like Trust Wallet or so in MetaMask. They will, I mean, MetaMask doesn't even send you a notification on your phone, but like Trust Wallet does that. So, but I'm like, as I said, I have like 10, 20 addresses. I don't want to add all those into my insecure Trust Wallet on my phone just to get a notification. And so that's why I built the service, where it was just simply like, okay, just throw in your address, what blockchain, your email, and we'll tell you if something happens to your wallet. And that's it. There's nothing more to it at this point. But I just wanted to see what's the uptake on that. And interestingly enough, I had a couple of very meaningful conversations just based on this hobby tool, because people were like, yeah, I can resonate with that problem. I have that problem too. And so that's the newest from my Web3 journey so far.
No, that's a very simple yet interesting idea and useful. Maybe going forward, if you get more user, you can monetize this as a service.
Sorry, repeat the question if there was a question.
No, no, I was
Need
just
to be louder.
appreciating the idea. It
Just
was not
saying
a
that
question.
this
I was
maybe can be monetized, but yeah, we also face similar problems, multiple uh, addresses which are dormant, and I would want to know if something happens if I get an airdrop or something. So not airdrop, oh god, using too much of Apple. Cool. Hey, moving on. What got you into the Web3 space? I mean, you're predominantly you're an entrepreneur from a Web2 space. So what was your um, go-to moment? Hey, I need to be here.
Okay, so I find this very interesting, my journey, because I totally missed Bitcoin, right? Like I heard about this Bitcoin thingy, and it was kind of like, oh yeah, whatever. And then there was this like crypto bubble in 2017, right? Where just like it was like, oh, you can make money with this. And so I invested like $500, and it went up to 2000 or something, and it went back down. Like I didn't make any money, but I didn't really lose any either. It was just like toying around, and I was like, well, something needs to happen for this to go anywhere. So I kind of put it in the back of my mind, like, okay, crypto is kind of cool, but whatever. And then a couple of things happened. For one of my business partners in the Web2 world, he started working for a blockchain game. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then about the same time, Tesla goes like, yeah, we are buying Bitcoin. And I was like, hang on, if a public company in the SP 500 is buying Bitcoin, this is not disappearing, like, and then it all just came together with like NFTs, Bored Apes, all that fun stuff. It was all within like the same 12 months that like Tesla buys Ethereum or Bitcoin. They bought a Bitcoin actually, but they buy crypto. Then suddenly PayPal and Square and other big companies start to like extend their crypto offerings to NFTs popped up. And I was like, well, this is actually really cool now, because we are now getting to the phase where like you can work in this industry and it's not super strange. Like you're not, it's becoming mainstream. Maybe mainstream doesn't know it yet, but this is turning to mainstream. And that's when I started exploring entrepreneurial routes in the space.
Got it. So I think what you also mentioned is regarding your Play-to-Earn game. So would you like to maybe share more on what is that, and where do you see this as a future? Because today we see a lot of Play-to-Earn games. So just your perspective on this entire area and what you are exactly doing in this space.
So our game is, like I said, essentially card trading and like fighting each other. And it's sort of like you're comparing cars. So like I have a car, you have a car, and then I pick an attribute, and I don't know your card, but I pick an attribute where I think I will win. So like highest horsepower or highest speed, fastest acceleration, whatever it is. And maybe you win and then you get my card, or I win and I get your card. So the interesting element of our game, and it's not in the game yet, we have released a beta, but we're not there yet. But the interesting piece that we wanted to incorporate is the concept of losing NFTs. not just keeping them and trading them, but you lose them. Like if you lose in the game, you will lose your NFT, which is a concept that I haven't seen anywhere else yet. And
Will
that's
it be
what we
called
thought was
gambling?
cool.
Will it be called gambling in case I am just wondering?
Um, I don't know that so I'm not a very legally savvy person. I really don't want to be in the Web3 space either, because otherwise I probably wouldn't do half the things I do. But um, I don't think it's any more gambling in you playing a round of Monopoly. Like it's not that you're gambling with like you put money on the table. You have a trading card, and we give them out for free too. Like if you sign up in our game, you get 5 cards for free. So it's not that like you have to spend money to then. You're probably not making actual money here, especially in the bear market right now. There's no sentiment for such things. So it's really just a game, play to earn, because we have a token and you can get tokens by playing the game right now. The tokens are not very valuable at the moment, which is fine. I mean, that's just the reality of the current market, that like any game token is like way down. We do have a decently sized community in Indonesia that is playing our game. So that's just about where we are at.
Okay, what game it is, just out of curiosity, because I am actually located in Jakarta.
Sorry, repeat that question.
No, no, actually I'm located in Jakarta, so I was wondering what game this is.
Super fast cards.
Oh, okay, I get it. I'll check it out. Then then who do you see your competitor? Like, do you compete with only play to earn games, or do you also compete with the likes of Fortnite and Roblox and all those games which are also in the same genre, but not exactly play to earn games?
Like, do you mean like where will this go in? Where will play to earn end up happening in the future? Like, will it move to like
Yeah,
Roblox
yeah,
and those?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, Good question. I mean, if we knew what to invest in, right? I think right now Web3 in general is in this like identification phase. Like everyone has sort of a different idea of what Web3 is. No one really knows, and everyone is just building something. I mean, you have Sandbox, you have Roblox, you have Yuga Labs doing their thing. Everyone is doing things. And I think in actuality, it sort of will depend on what the future generation will want to play. Our kids, that's the generation that will really thrive in this. And you see this already. If you look at like Roblox and those kinds of platforms, the number of minors using those platforms is like mind-boggling. So I don't know that we can accurately say where anything is moving. We also need to consider the legal environment that we are in, which is not the friendliest at this particular
Got it.
moment. And so when it comes to like crypto and making money, so the playing to earn part, I don't know if we can predict what that will look like in the next 3 years. But what I do know is that in 10 years will be great.
Got it, got it. So I have a follow-up questions on that. So like you might having a good user base. What do you, I mean, from your research, what do you think is the biggest motivator for the user to choose a play to earn game versus a standard game, which is like let's say Fortnite or a GTA? Like, is it money or is it fun or is it both? So what is the motivator for them today? Why they are choosing to play to earn game versus any other game in the world?
That's a good question. And your question opens up another interesting question too, is like, what is the economy behind the game? So like if I'm playing and I'm getting paid for it, who's paying for it? Is it speculators that are speculating on a token and I'm getting a token, but it's only as valuable as the token has any meaning? Like kind of like someone needs to put money into the game, because if everyone is earning, who is putting the money in there? And I don't know that as an industry, the play to earn industry has fully resolved that issue yet. We have some concepts, we have like educational, and then they like to brand it like learn to earn and those kinds of things. or we have like ads and sponsorships and virtual events and those sort of ideas. But so to be perfectly honest, I have not seen a single game where their taxonomy behind it is like, this is 100% sustainable. The only area where it is sustainable is, back to your earlier point, funny enough, in gambling. So when you have um which one is it, like Decentra games with like poker in the metaverse, of course that's sustainable because people are gambling and basically you playing to earn, you make money by other people losing money, which is fine. If everyone is a consenting adult doing that, fine by me. The question is, can we have a similar model where it's not gambling and people are not necessarily losing money to the better player per se? That would be the interesting question the industry has to answer. Another example where it works well is again, it's kind of going like gambling, virtual horse races, which I don't like. People are hesitant to say like play to earn in some of these instances, because are you really playing to earn, or are you just gambling, rolling the dice and hoping for the best? Which again, that's a fine thing to do, but that's not necessarily equivalent to like you playing Fortnite and getting paid for it in some shape or form. Um, and what I'm waiting for, in a sense, is for some bigger player to really push through and make like a bold move, like Epic Games or someone like that, to say, oh, look, guys, we have a play to earn game here and you can actually make money. Sort of like, I would see it as similar to like where they now have money in the game when people buy items, and you can still buy all those things. Now you get them as NFTs in a perfect world. And every transaction is like incurring a fee or so. And now you get price pools. And so every time you win a game or so, the price pool gets split among the players and you can make money that way. Because right now you have those things where you have like these championships and whatever, like the PUBG or
Yeah.
Fortnite championships, and you get lots of money if you win there, but you get like no money if you don't play there and if you aren't nearly as good. So I could see a democratizing moment in the play to earn and gaming industry if PUBG and Fortnite were to say, okay, open floor, now we make it a play to earn and everyone can earn something, because now we are not giving out 100,000 to the one winner, but we are giving, I mean, you can still make it desirable enough to have a sizable amount of money at the top, but to make it that like everyone can participate, and that this whole chunk of money that's being shared is a little bit more evenly distributed amongst all players somehow. But that's not for people like me or you guys to decide. That's like Epic Games and the really big players. They need to get into that. And I wouldn't even say that they aren't trying or that they aren't thinking about it, but they also bear a lot of responsibility. And then again, legality. If you have a 12-year-old suddenly make real money through a game, I mean, people have been sued over less, right? So I mean, I think Fortnite and PUBG both had to pay fines over like
Yeah.
deceptive marketing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't even want to know what their lawyers will think if the user just like, oh, hey, let your players make money through cryptocurrency. And every lawyer in the corporation will be like, holy cow, no, we will be sued to no end, probably. But that's where I would hope and see the future going with all of that.
What are some of the P2E games that you admire or you like?
I like Zed Run, horse races. I do enjoy that one because um, it's not pure luck. It's not like rolling dice, but there's a little bit more of a sophistication behind that, so that I wouldn't necessarily call it gambling. But then again, that might be more of a legal question, what is considered gambling. But I like that one. Other play to earn games. I mean, I'm a big PUBG player, which is not play to earn, but I hope they become play to earn because I would love that. I'm not the best at PUBG, but I play with my son, like my son and me, we will both play PUBG, and that's just fun. So I'm hoping that like fun games can do that at some point.
Me and Ayush are great Fortnite players. We do keep playing that. Rather, the entire idea of this podcast was discussed over a Fortnite game, and then it took its life. So yeah, I think games are a amazing place to socialize, interact, and be more yourself. And with this play to earn coming, I think it opens a lot of use cases.
Yeah, man, just imagine GTA 5 having a play to earn model. Right now, people are spending so much time in there building their own assets. What if they could really own the digital assets and maybe trade? And I don't know how the economics would work, but the possibilities are huge.
Yeah, and like if you like if they make it a lot more sophisticated, where like you can like configure your guns or whatever, and you can and your guns get worn out or whatever, you know, when it's like a little bit more realistic, where you could trade a gun, but like your specific gun is unique because you've like used it so much that it's like flowing really well, and it's like not comparable to a new gun because your gun is now better because you've trained it or so, which sounds nonsense, but you know what I mean. Like if the assets are not just assets that are replaceable, if they become actually non-fungible, and then we are back to the point where it could be an NFT, because now like I can use my gun, and my gun works really well, and I've trained with my gun, and my gun is now valuable because it's so unique, and now I can sell my gun. Because if people see, oh, they can buy this gun, and this gun killed 100,000 people, so now we are at a point where like you have like a collectors, or you're just someone who wants to play the game really well, and you can make up for your skills by paying money, which is something that always happens in life. So I think that would be really cool if we end up there.
Interesting thought. Hey, I mean, couple of questions. So you run multiple startups in the Web3 space. How big is your team?
So we're in total a team of 5 people. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's pretty lean. That's nice. And you're an investor yourself. So have you been investing in Web3 startups?
I have actually. I'm doing some like, I mean, I'm not investing big money because I'm not one of the big guys, but I actually have been investing in some Web3 startups, specifically in the areas of analytics, marketplace, crypto in general, and then personal marketing techniques. So like if you wanted to market to Web3, there are ways you can do that. And there's a company very involved in helping Web2 companies identify ways to market to Web3. So those are the areas in Web3 that I invest in. And like decentralized exchanges like Uniswap. I'm a big Uniswap fan. So
Yeah, perfect. You mentioned marketplaces. I mean, I might be wrong, but don't you think that the boat for that has sailed? With your OpenSea
well,
becoming huge.
Well, it totally has. Well, the marketplace I'm invested in is actually OpenSea, so I'm not too worried about the boat being sailed because OpenSea is not doing too shabby. Um, I mean, the it really depends on so many things when you look at marketplaces and all of that. Um, I tend to, my investment strategy is usually, I'm not the seed guy in many regards. Like I think some ideas are fascinating, but I don't necessarily invest in seed startups just because, yeah, it's like rolling dice. There's no way to tell where this is going. So I personally prefer to invest in companies that are like one step beyond that, series A, series B, that sort of thing, where like Uniswap right now. Uniswap is great because Uniswap is like, they are established enough, they have a brand name, and
Yeah.
whatever happens with decentral finance, DeFi, they'll do great because they're just there, and they will remain there unless they totally behave like idiots, which I don't see them doing. So Uniswap is a great stage for a company to invest in, and with Uniswap everyone can do it. Like you can invest in their token, and that's not equivalent to the company, but that's, if Uniswap is doing well, the token will do well, you know. Similar with like Binance is the Binance token are somewhat similar, just because there's such a strong attachment from company to token, And this is what DeFi really is, why DeFi is so great, because now everyone can invest in those things, technically speaking.
I mean, I hope some of your investments make ton of money. And if we start up sometime someday, we'll give you a call for sure. Yeah, I mean, with this, I think you're almost out of time. So, Ralph, thank you so much. We had a very interesting discussion, and hope your game, it does well when it's out there.
I hope so too. Just to damper your expectations, we are not expecting it to do well until the bear market is over. Like, if crypto is back to where it was beginning of last year, then we can hope again. Until then, we just have to push through the rain. So, but thanks for
I
having me.
think,
This has been great.
yeah, thank you
Thank
so much, and we hope things turn out in the right order, and we see
thank
Web3 becoming truly mass.